Good morning, Joe Mayer.
Good morning, Mark. How you doing today?
All right. So, you are one of the founding members of the Brooklyn Bards, yes?
Actually, I am not one of the founding members. They were founded about a year and a half or maybe 2 years before I joined the band. I think around 2014, 2015 is when they started. It was the two founding members were Kieran Hamilton and Donald Nolan, and they started doing it as just a duo. Kieran on guitar and vocals, and Donald on tin whistle and vocals. And they did some gigging that as the two of them for some time. And then they met Robert Montemorano, our drummer, and during that, and then said, "Well, let me go get my drum. I'll jam with you guys." And that was during one of their gigs. And after that gig, they said, "That was great. We'd love to have you come play with us permanently." And then for about a year, maybe a little longer than that, that was the lineup, the three piece. And then I was actually brought in to back up Kieran, because Kieran couldn't do a lot of the gigs, he's a psychiatric ward nurse over at Brooklyn, and he couldn't get out of work all the time for some of the gigs. So I was actually brought in to back him up as a guitar player. And at that time, I showed them also that I had a lot of other skills.
Right.
And so I came and jammed with them when they were the full band, and brought my mandolin, and then brought the fiddle stuff in too. And I actually didn't even start playing banjo until a few months after I joined the Bards. The banjo that I play is the 4-string Irish tenor. It's strung very similar to the mandolin, just down an octave. So it kind of lends itself to a lot of the same chord shapes. And so I took to that pretty quickly. I thought it would add a lot of different texture and sound to the band. So the different instruments for different songs, depending on the mood.
Can you tell me a little bit about the origins of the songs you play?
A lot of them go back a lot of them are really ancient Celtic songs. Some of them from the great composer Carolyn, and some of them are more modern. It's a good blend of the modern style. A lot of it is what you call a drinking song or rebel songs that come out of the rebellion from the early 1900s in Ireland. Honestly, I'm not a real expert on all of that history, but there's definitely a lot of real stories, real true tales of things that happened in those songs that is very rich and told in a really beautiful way, and just helps the memory of those events really go through the generation and not be forgotten.
And some of these songs have a term called sea shanties.
Yes, well, a lot of the economy in Ireland was based on the seafaring ways. So those are tales of those people who went to sea, and the sailors, most of them are based on true stories, as I would say. So
was a lot of this music sung on ships, or more so when they were back on land and in the pubs?
That's a good question. It's hard for me to say. I mean, I would definitely think that some music was sung on the ships.
I would love to have the opportunity to hear you guys play on a ship here in New York Harbor.
Oh, we would love that. That would be amazing. I'm sure that the guys would be absolutely thrilled to do such a thing. Definitely.
So tell me a little bit about, you do make some of your own instruments, yeah?
Yes, I do. I don't play any of the instruments I've built in the band, but actually, when I do play guitar, I play the guitar that I built, an acoustic guitar that I built back in 2003. Really, just an amazing acoustic guitar that sings and has such a deep, rich bass to it. It's like a small jumbo body instrument. I've also built some ukuleles. Love to build a mandolin. I think a mandolin might be one of my next builds if I ever have time to build something for myself.
The actual term of the word fiddle, where did that start?
Where did that start? I mean, I'm sure it just comes out of instead of it being used as a classical instrument, calling it a violin, it's really the same instrument, but it's probably a colloquialism that came out of either, kind of like a redneck or a country kind of origin. It was a different way of playing, and so they came up with a different term for the music. It probably started as saying, fiddle around up here, and then it became, I'm going to play my fiddle. That's how I imagine it, but it really is the same instrument.
Is there some connection between the Celtic songs and bluegrass?
I have seen that there's very similar melodies in many of the bluegrass songs to Celtic songs, and it's probably true that maybe some of the people who began the bluegrass music came from Ireland and brought those songs from Ireland, and they just got altered as time passed, and the different style of being in, the Appalachian type environment. It's just basically, as traditions get passed along, they altered. The people who moved from Ireland here brought some of their songs. They probably had a big part in what bluegrass is now. So I would say that there's definitely a huge connection between the two.
Yeah, so COVID-19, basically New York shut down right around St. Patrick's Day, right?
Oh yeah, that was a painful time for us for sure. We were extremely busy. We had a full schedule that was about to happen, and all of a sudden we had to be like, "Oh, okay, there's just nothing we can do. It's out of our hands, and we just have to roll with it and hope it's over soon." And it's still not over, but people are learning to live with it more, I guess, now, and so gigs are starting to happen again, which is nice, but I still kind of would feel uncomfortable playing indoor shows at a bar, that's for sure.
But tell me about what you've got coming up this weekend.
We'll be playing outside Sunday afternoon, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Irish Haven in Sunset Park. They have a big outdoor awning set up, little bar area. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work, but we'll definitely be outside, so we're not going to be inside playing in that.
Well, it should be a nice day to be outdoors playing. All right, we'll hope to see you there. We'll try to get out the word to more people to show up. Well, we enjoy your remote broadcasting on Facebook Live from Brooklyn Bards, so hopefully we'll see a little bit of that too. All right, thanks a lot, Joe.
Thank you, Mark. Always a pleasure talking to you, and I hope to see you on Sunday.